Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. Satsang at Astrology here, and I'm back with a preview of what we are going to have with the December 14th, 2020 solar eclipse. It's coming. We already passed the halfway between the summer and the winter eclipses. So we are officially within the range of the winter eclipses already. And this is going to be very, very important and strong. It's a long eclipse, meaning the duration of the shadow. It's a long one. We will see all of the details about it. And I will share my screen in order to show you what are we expecting about it. Meanwhile, I also encourage you to, if you like my videos and the messages that I give, please subscribe and also comment, contact me. Here are the ways you can get in contact with me, and also make a donation if you like. I am daily with messages about the transits every day on Tumblr, Facebook, MeWe, and Instagram. So I encourage you to visit there. The posts are very popular now, so I hope you enjoy it too. Okay, so now I will share the chart for the solar eclipse in December. And out of the gate, first of all, we have fire, a lot of fire. Some earth, very little water, and nothing air, nothing in air. So you will see there's a lot of energy in the air. There's a lot of action, activity, and inspiration, hopefully good one. And there is a certain amount of ability to give shape, give form to the okay, now you can see the chart. Okay, so there is here I was pointing out to the fire, 9 earth, 5 no air, little water, very little emotional states. But what is very interesting is there's a great amount of cardinal energy. So change is coming. You can expect big changes. There's a lot of cardinal energy and very little fixed energy. So whatever the status quo is, anywhere in the world where you are, then that is not too strong, right? No status quo is strong because there is a lot of also mutable energy. So there is a transitional energy and a lot of changes, cardinal, eight points of cardinal. So you can count on change. Things will not be the same. So that makes me happy because we need change, right? Okay, so the leading, this is a bowl configuration, and the leading planet is Venus, which talks about finances, the economy, resources, and values. So if there are changes, they will involve primarily Venus matters, right? Don't look at the ruler of the ascendant, because this chart is cast as a natural zodiac, and it doesn't subscribe to any particular location in the world. So it doesn't really, the ascendant or rising sign doesn't really matter on this chart. So let's see. There is a solar eclipse, and the degree is 23 degrees 8 minutes in Sagittarius, and it's conjunct not only Mercury, which is very significant because it will affect our mind, our thinking, and the way we talk, we communicate, but also it is with the south node of the moon. So eclipses are very different if they are with one or the other of the nodes. They are perceived more positively if they are with the north node. In this case, it is the south node. So I will explain what that means for this new beginning. There's a new start. There's something new starting with this solar eclipse. And as I said, you can expect changes. Goodbye to the status quo. Okay, so this solar eclipse is in Sagittarius. And the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is in Capricorn, and is together with Saturn, right? So they together, this conjunction is called the chronocrators conjunction, and it means every 20 years they meet in a different sign. It means a new 20-year period of political, economical structures and beliefs. So as you see, 28 degrees 57 minutes, Jupiter and Saturn is at 29:44. They are already conjunct. It's just a matter of minutes. And in fact, they are just 7 days from the official partile conjunction in Aquarius. And that's gonna happen on the 21st together with the winter solstice. I already did 2 videos that I highly recommend you to look at, because they will explain what this conjunction is about. And what is super interesting is that during this eclipse, they are already in conjunction, even though it's not exact or perfect, but they're in conjunction in Capricorn, which is the sign of change. It is a cardinal sign. So we are already having a change, a shift in energy. And so Jupiter, even though it is with Saturn, and it is, so our vision of the world and the circumstances and the situation in general is kind of within certain boundaries, right, imposed by Saturn. But the thing is that change is coming. So it is within a certain limit, but it is coming. And the Sagittarius, it is the sign of the vision of the future. in the vision of the world, the broader perspective that we have. And if we take a look at the conjunction, right, the sun and the moon, our conscious and our unconscious are together now, uh, changing this vision, this future projection, right? Because Sagittarius is that center with the arrow and the bow, aiming at the horizon, right? The horizon that never comes, that we never reach. So we are really at the beginning of a new era. This is a new dawn. And it's tightly conjunct Mercury, which is the planet that represents our mind, the ideas that we have, the thinking, the communications, the information, the knowledge, basic practical knowledge, logical knowledge. So this new moon eclipse is then about beliefs, Sagittarius, and it's about the structures of those beliefs, because Jupiter is in Capricorn with Saturn. So it is the structures of our beliefs. And if we add the energy of the South Node, we are coming to a re-evaluation of our past beliefs and the structures of our beliefs that are already expired, that are obsolete, those beliefs that have come to a point where they are not really helping us, that we need to leave behind. We need to let go of beliefs that are decayed, they're decadent, right? So this eclipse will be a test on our mental stamina, because it is so challenging, right, for our mind. So it will really blow our mind, the changes that are coming. And so we can count on a new start and leaving behind, for example, ideologies that do not apply to the present situation anymore. Also, it is about morals, about leaving behind bigotry, and also the concept of truth that we had. For example, also Sagittarius is the sign associated with legal matters, and for example, long distance travel, philosophy, religious beliefs, and all those things will be in review in a way that we will start anew with those matters. Some probably I am concerned because legal matters can take a back seat, meaning that justice may not be at its highest point, especially because there will be blocks, Saturn in Capricorn with Jupiter in Capricorn, blocks to legal matters, blocks to the justice, and that could be a detriment here. There will also be much restrictions and regulations about long distance travel, and probably we will need to review cultural issues, you know, cultural issues that might be related to race, to immigrants, right? Sagittarius is also the sign of migration. So they could be some regulations that will come up about migrations and movement on people from one country and to another. We will see in the after 2025, probably frontiers and borders will not be of such importance as it is today. But for now, we can expect regulations coming about migration. So there is also a very diligent focus on contracts, and because Mercury is there, trade dealings and issues, problems, conflicts, and there might be revisions of international commerce agreements like trades, international trade and foreign affairs. Sagittarius is the sign of foreign affairs, so there will be a new start in those realms, and probably there will be details coming up about those issues, as I said, foreign relations and foreign affairs and trade. And we may have to abandon the points of view that we had that were extremely exaggerated about culture and foreigners and foreign travel. So things like that that were expanding probably now they will come to focus on details, right? We will use our practical mind in order to analyze and discuss, communicate, right? Talk and get new ideas about how to deal in a practical way with those matters that I mentioned. Foreigners, foreign affairs, migration, foreign travel, long distance travel, etc. So there is also a revision because of the South Node of basic ideas related to morality, what the truth is, religious principles and spiritual practices, the law, politics, ideologies, philosophies. So there is a very high level of stress, I will say, because there is so much cardinal energy, right? And that affects the stress and then the level of fear, right? Huge changes usually come accompanied by a high level of adrenaline, right? So we may be in a high level of fear because of the changes, and the nervous system will be greatly affected. So probably people will be very, very nervous by this time. So ideas that were taken for granted will be challenged, and also there will be a challenge in international communication. So we can expect, for example, the internet to be under more regulations, constrictions, or free speech may be more scrutinized. We have already seen, even I read on Facebook that they are eliminating accounts that don't agree with what they think anyways. And who knows what sectors they are serving by doing that. I don't know. I will take the time to analyze this. The fact here is that we don't have free speech anymore. And even journalists are persecuted, and they don't have really that freedom of investigate or go deeply into matters that concern people. So there will be challenges also in deals, trade deals, and negotiations related to commerce, right? Remember, Venus is the leading planet of this chart. So what happens is that the economy is under stress, you know, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The economy has gone down the drain. Everything that we took for granted, like the oil, right, and the driving, the distilleries are going close, the oil industry is going down, the consumption is very, very low. So these events are forcing humanity to change things. So we we no longer have the choice to wait until whatever. No, the situation is requiring for us to take action. That's shown here by the cardinal, the high level of cardinal energy. So there could be also miscommunications, misunderstanding, a lack of communication, because of restrictions in the flow of information. So in some cases, there could be a discard of data and legal documents because of the South Node together by less than, let's see, we have 7-8 minutes of difference between Mercury and the South Node. So the South Node acts as a drain, a leak of what everything that Mercury symbolizes, meaning that, for example, there could be a tendency to hide information, to take out information from the public and not showing it. Also, legal documents could be lost, destroyed intentionally or unintentionally, and data could be discarded or not considered because of this influence of the South Node. So then communications will be unreliable. People will not trust what it's been told. And also people will have a change of perception. And at work, all those people who do intellectual work, like journalists and clerks, administration people, and even healthcare personnel, because Mercury also rules healthcare workers, could be could have less efficiency. We have already heard that they may not have enough equipment or PPE or enough supplies, materials, medicines. So their efficiency could be decreased. And also there could be problems in their thinking process, and the people's thinking process and memory. The moon rules memory, and the moon also rules masses of people. So there could be lost data, and also there could be a new start in regards to health. The pandemic may take a very significant turn. I can't say if it's going to be positive or negative, but South Node, as I said, is a leak of energy. So maybe it's after this eclipse, maybe the pandemic is over. I really cannot predict which way this will go, but definitely there are changes in health and healthcare. Also, you can experience changes in your daily routines, your work, especially if you have an intellectual work. Then there is also a hindering of international communications and the understanding or the practical knowledge about cultures, different cultures. And also there is probably blocks or restrictions in long-term business plans. We see already so many companies that are changing because of bankruptcy, or they are disappearing, and some of them are changing and repurposing, changing the way they work, or changing their industry completely, right? Companies that adopt a different kind of production, for example. What we have seen already and will see for the next 3 months, the oil industry investing in other kinds of energy production, right? More sustainable, probably nuclear or wind or solar. So there's a shift there in order to save, you know, the investments in the industry. So it could be also the end of personal relationships with siblings, brothers, sisters, and friends. This may somehow affect your lungs, right? And not in a very positive way, because Mercury rules the lungs, the intestines, especially the small intestine, and absorption of food. So it will be also affecting the digestion for some people, right? It depends on how prominent Mercury is for you, and where is natally located, what houses it rules in your birth chart. So health issues will be very, very personal depending on your natal chart. If you'd like a definite information, if you're concerned about health, you can order a reading with me and I can analyze that for you. So there's also probably restrictions on foreign journalists that may be banned or persecuted. There also international treaties and agreements may be resigned, and there could be restrictions on youth assemblies because Mercury rules youth. So we can count on a very passionate energy to much action, as I said, action for change, a great level of inspiration and progress. There could be sensational communications and the lack of reins on what we say. But remember, it will always be restricted by the governmental structures and institutions, because Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, is not only in Capricorn, but also with Saturn building that historical conjunction in Aquarius that will happen December 21st. So there could be dissension also. And something interesting is that there could also be religious disputes if there are fanatical sectors. This could be something new that is coming about those spiritual beliefs or practices. And this also suggests, this solar eclipse also suggests either the death or imprisonment of great men. This is something that has been documented in the historical past. So who knows? We recently had Venus square Uranus, and we had the passing of one of the United States Supreme Court members. So that is a female, right? Because Venus is represents a woman. This solar eclipse in Sagittarius, as I said, may affect significantly male personality, very famous male personality. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about aspects. I'm not going to go in depth. I will come back to this eclipse later on when we are closer to it, to this lunation. But it is, first of all, we had Aries here. Aries is the goddess of discord, you know, the one that threw the golden apple of discord at the table of the gods that were having a feast and didn't invite her. And that started the Trojan War, right? So Aries is at 23 degrees and Pluto is squaring Aries. And it is barely separating from the square because Aries is in Aries retrograde. So it has a few minutes apart from this square, but it's still operative. So this means powerful clashes between the powers that be, with the need for independence and for change and reclaiming what we have right to. Because she was reclaiming that she was worth to be at the table of that feast, but she wasn't invited. So I guess there is a great sector of the population of the world who is not invited to the feast. And they apparently they are not recognized the right to exist, the right to have proper housing, to protect their families, to have enough food to eat, or to have the access to healthcare, or even a place to live, right? Because there are so many displaced populations that are now, if you remember, right, a few, I think about a couple weeks ago, was the fire in one of the refugee camps in Greece, and they're still out in the open without place to go. And imagine living just out there in the streets. No bathroom, no food, no water, no access to healthcare. It's a very cruel humanitarian situation. But another thing that I want to point out with this square between Pluto and Eris in Aries is that the previous square happened in the month of January, around the time of the assassination of the Iranian general Soleimani and the Iranian retaliation. The 23 degrees exact square happened was going on at the time when United States was evaluating the health of those soldiers affected by the Iranian retaliation. So every time the square is activated, then we go back over, especially because Eris is retrograde here. We go back over those incidents and those events that happened in previous squares. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of review or coming back to those events and situations back then from January. January 26th precisely. So what else? Here we have also to mention Chiron is retrograde, and on December 26, 2019, it was also at the same 4 degrees, exactly when the solar eclipse at 4 degrees Capricorn happened. And I consider that solar eclipse to have been the trigger of the pandemic, right? December 26th. And it was square Chiron at this 4 degrees. So that's another event that we are coming back to analyze, to consider, to review, because Chiron is retrograde, and Chiron also is the modern ruler of Virgo, which is the sign and of health. And Chiron is about healing, about looking everywhere, especially alternative possibilities of healing. So we are then focused on different ways to face this health crisis with the help of Chiron. Chiron was dedicated his whole life to trying to heal himself, and he wasn't able to, but in the course of those years, he studied so much that he was able to help a lot of others, and even instruct the very god of health, who was, his name was Asclepius, and he was the trainer and professor of the god of healthcare, the god of the doctors, right? So the god of medicine. So Chiron then is an important agent in the intervention against the COVID-19 virus. And as I said, during this eclipse, we will go back over those methods of healing. Maybe discovering something very positive and that will resolve the problem. We also worth mentioning is the conjunction between over here in Taurus, Uranus and Black Moon Lilith. And Uranus implies sudden change, and also in the area of economics, because Taurus is all the resources, especially food supplies and food resources. And Uranus is giving us alternative ways of dealing with that. And in conjunction with Black Moon Lilith here, she is the shadow of security in Taurus, which implies this fear of scarcity. So I thought that that was worth mentioning. So now I would like to show you, let me stop sharing this, and I would like to show you the map. Let me find it here. Okay. So here we have the astrocartography, the map of the eclipse. This eclipse, let me see. This eclipse will be total eclipse in South America, and is going across from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, and it will cross Chile, center Chile, and center South Argentina in a big way. So I'm not sure, sometimes eclipses bring earthquakes to places that are susceptible to those. And let me tell you that the Andes here is very susceptible to earthquakes. That's one of the manifestations. This is timeanddate.com, where you can find the eclipses under Sun and Moon tab. You go to the drop down menu and you find eclipses here, and you click on that and you look for the December 14th eclipse. And there are tabs at the top. You have eclipse information, you have the 3D path globe, and the live stream. I'm not sure if they are, yeah, they plan on live streaming, so you can watch it here online. And there are 81 days left so to it. And here are other interactive interactive ways of seeing the eclipse. And here is the eclipse information. You can see, for example, the progress of it here, which I find amazing. The total length of the eclipse, which is a total solar eclipse, as you have seen, is about 4 hours. Here you have the progression of the eclipse and 3D animation. Even though it is going through South America, it doesn't mean that it will not affect the whole world. Here you have UTC time. The first location to see the partial eclipse begins December 14th at 1:34 p.m. and the eclipse will last up until almost 7 p.m. So the length, the proper length of the eclipse will be from 2:30 to 6, so a good 5 hours. So what it means, the length of the eclipse effect could be between 3.5 years and 6 years. So brace ourselves. We need to brace ourselves. So let me then change to the other map. I was here. Let's see. Yeah. The shadow of the sun and the moon on the midheaven will pass here, you see, east of the east coast. It is in the ocean, but close enough to the capital of the United States and all the east coast. And together with the Mercury at the midheaven. So the midheaven is the most public position. So something very, very significant in the public eye will come up for the United States of America during or thanks to this eclipse. The North Node is in the IC, which the IC is the people, the most intimate part of the country, and also the opposition to the maximum authorities of a country. So the North Node will be focused on that. And remember that the North Node is in Gemini with Mercury as the ruler, and Mercury will be opposite. So Mercury will be at the midheaven. But let me go out, zoom out and show you the lines for the eclipse at the midheaven. Will also go through, cross the entire South American continent from Venezuela, the Amazonia, near Bolivia, Chile, and it will cross the whole map of Argentina. So I guess Argentina, Bolivia, and Venezuela will be countries highly affected by, especially, you know, the public, the government, the public life of the country, and the maximum authorities of those countries will be affected one way or another, probably letting go because of the South Node influence. And what is interesting is the Neptune is also falling on the ascendant of Chile. So something very I think is something very powerful may come to Chile, because Neptune on the ascendant is very confusing. So I don't discard an earthquake on both sides of the Andes here. We'll see, hopefully not, but we need to consider the possibility. So, and I think that's all I wanted to say. Let's see Europe just a little bit. The eclipse on the descendant will go through Spain and France border here. So there might be problems in their relationships. You know, DC is the descendant, and for a country represents their partners, associates, and so that's why I'm saying there may be something new about the relationships between France and Spain. And Mercury is also on the descendant or partners. The same for some countries in Africa. If you follow the lines, it goes through the center of Africa. Let's see. In the Middle East, we have Chiron in the midheaven, so I don't discard maybe a huge effect of the pandemic, you know, because Chiron represents health, but also it's in Aries. Chiron in Aries is the claim for existence, and also their claim for identity. So there might be clashes of identity or cultural issues. Okay, and also we have the crossing of Chiron and Pluto lines over here in this place. Let me see, Samsung is the city, or Syrup, yeah, Sinop, in the Caspian Sea. So there might be a powerful transformation, Pluto, for partners of this country, Turkey, right? Because it's on the descendant, so it talks about partners of the country. Okay, I think that's enough clues. You may make your own mind about it, but I cannot predict exactly. I can only read symbols, right? And symbolism, and it might apply to your personal life or issues that you're dealing with. But this is what I had to tell you about the solar eclipse. It is a total solar eclipse. It's going to be very powerful, but it brings change. So something is changing for good. And 7 days after the eclipse, we'll have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, bringing even more change, especially social progress, change, and society in general. So let's see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope you enjoy this message. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me. The contact information is in the description below. Please subscribe and like the video. And I wish you the best and keep safe. Goodbye.